So, today we are going to be doing the Sankofa Unburdening Bowl ceremony, and we're doing it virtually. Um, again, it's something new that I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope that you get into it. So, one of the things I do want to note about this ceremony is that it is symbolic, right? It is symbolic of an inner observance that you have done or that you intend to do. It in itself is not the the work. It is not the look within. It is not what you're going to do within. It is only symbolic of it. So think of it like a bow that's on a gift, right? The bow tends to not be the gift, right? The gift is the gift, but the bow is what's on top of it. Um, and it is symbolic of something good to come. So, hi, Raina. Thanks for joining me today. Excited that you're here. Um, Again, I was just going over what we're doing today. And that is, we're doing the Sankofa Unburdening Bowl. You should have with you a bowl. This is mine. It's square, but it's still a bowl. And you should have a piece of paper that we're going to use later. And you should have a pen, pencil, or writing utensil. And I'm going to move my camera a little bit so you can see my unfinished office, which I love. And my husband has said he is going to finish it, and I'm begging him not to because I like that it is unfinished because it reminds me that we are an ongoing work, and I like that. Okay, so again, this is reflective of an inner look within yourself. It is not the look, but it's reflective of the look. Thank you, Raina. I love it too. Thank you. Um, so yes, you have a bowl, piece of paper, and a pen. And we're just going to go through something. Hi, Eva. Thanks for joining us today. And I wanted to give you guys the time to come into the room and make sure you have with you what we're going to need for the unburdening bowl virtual ceremony we're going to do. The purpose of this is hey, Reverend E, thanks for joining us. The purpose of this is for us to see, name, bless, and release some of the things that we usually hide. And that happens a lot. Hi, Magic. Thanks for joining us. The reason why we want to do that is because we want to, again, deepen our true self. We want to embrace all of us, the things that we so easily project out in the world, the things we easily show up in, but also and especially the things that we tend to hide. Again, make sure you have your bowl, something to write with, and a piece of paper. So, psychological research tells us that only about 15% of people are genuinely self aware. And I get that. And I know a lot of people who do not like to look within. They sometimes don't like to be alone with themselves. They just prefer the peripheral, in a sense, and to show up almost like a stage. Um, but Magic says, and then give them a cell phone. I know. And they never look outside. It's totally outside. But in so much of the ways that they're missing the best part of life and the best part of themselves. Um, I get it though. I know only 15%, yeah, are self-aware. Yeah, Raina. So that's no wonder there is a problem. But we often want to avoid the insight and the feedback that could reveal uncomfortable truths, right? So usually that failure to look within has to do with pain or the perceived notion that it will be painful. So I'd rather pretend and go on and muddle through my life and none the wiser. But it's usually and it always for me, my experience is that those truths that we fear or want to avoid, our looking at them is what sets us free. It takes the power away from that, and it sets us free to move forward. Um, these shallow parts of ourselves, those things that are hidden or that we try to keep pushing down, are only wanting our attention. They're wanting to show us something, to tell us something, and they're waiting for us to see. They're waiting for the warmth to teach us what they're trying to teach us. A lot of times we're taught to fix these things or pretty them up or um, do a lot of things that may not be authentic to that particular situation. And what I find that works for me is to see them and then to bless them. Blessing to me is seeing the truth of what they are, not for shame, not for condemnation, not for conviction or anything for ourselves or maybe the source of that issue, but it is to see the truth again because the truth sets us free. Good morning, E. Here's an example. My holding on to an incompatible marriage. Some of you probably heard me talk about that before. A long time in a marriage that myself and my ex kind of, we looked at each other one day and say, "What did we do?" That was early on, but for both of us, neither of us wanted to go the path of divorce. My issue, I feared getting a divorce because it would disappoint my parents. It I felt would disappoint and disconnect me from God. But it also reflected a misunderstanding of myself and who I was. But it was when I started to look at that, hold, when I started to look at that kinda understanding, and when I started to look at the limitation I had put upon myself to stay someplace that was unproductive for both of us, even though we muddled through it and kinda made it work and made it look like it was not a compatible situation, right? So it could only be what it could be. But only when I started to look at that and look at the results of that, and I named it and I talked with it and I settled with it, only then that I became free of that guilt. Only then did that fear become a teacher and become a friend for me that I could learn the lesson and move forward in truth. And really, it is what launched my desire to teach and preach and help all of us live our true self because we waste so much time and so much energy um, not being our true self for these feelings we keep hitting, for these things we keep hitting. So we're going to get started. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat as we go along because this is kind of a private inner work that we're doing collectively. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start to look at this and we're going to name what this is and later we'll even bless it rather than curse it. So I'm going to ask you to write down one part of yourself that you tend to hide. It could be like me, a fear or a flaw, a desire, a doubt, a habit, anything that's nagging at you. You know it's there, is nagging at you, yet you tend to ignore it. So it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something small. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Hi, Randolph. Again, this is not confession. It's more of a homecoming. Is more of a freeing exercise. You don't have to share what you write down unless you want to share it, uh, unless it's going to help you to release it. So again, it's a private moment that we're doing collectively. If you want to share it, feel free to do it in the chat. If you want to speak it, let me know. I'll invite you on and you can share it that way. Otherwise, we're just going to do it. So take a few moments, a couple of minutes or so, to write down one part of you that you tend to hide. Okay, go ahead and do that. I was gonna do music, but I think the quiet might work well, and hopefully you're in a comfortable, quiet space where you can do this. How you guys doing? Do you need more time? Tame the hairs there. All right, a few more seconds, and then we'll move to the next thing. And again, this one thing that you tend to hide that you want to bring to the light. Again, we want to show up our whole true self, at least within ourselves. Nothing hidden from ourselves. To our own selves, be true. All of it. Okay, I'm going to share what I wrote. Um, my paper with all the scratches, if you can see it, is my need for and asking for help. It's one of the things that, um, yeah, I would tend to keep hidden. The fact that I need help on things, and being willing to ask for the help. And probably that is also rooted in some form of fear, fear that people won't help me, or fear of being seen, or feeling that I'm not enough or can solve this myself. And it's just a silly way to think because we all need help all the time in one form or another. Which is why we will call on spirit or call on our higher power or whatever you call that entity greater than you. You know, we're asking and wanting the help to move throughout our day. But I'm calling out that thing in me that is reluctant to ask for help. Um, yeah, so that's the thing I am putting in the light this day. So if you're ready to move forward, I'm going to ask you to place your paper in your bowl. I'm almost in. Place your paper in your bowl, and if you're ready for that, very good. So, next, we want to bless this part of us that we've called out and put in the bowl. Put it in the bowl. Okay, Randolph is sharing his. I want to expose this for all the world to see. Something I share with most of my brothers. I'm greatly attracted to the brilliance and wisdom of women like yourselves, but it doesn't take very long, a few months, before I fall in love and ruin the collaboration and friendships. That is interesting, Randolph. Do you want to come on and share a little bit more live? Or I can interpret that in a certain way. Well, I love what you said. I think it's just wonderful that you're attracted to brilliant and the wisdom of women, and you included myself and probably others on this call in it. So thank you for that. I'm happy to be called brilliant and wise. That's what I'm working toward until I leave this place. Um, so the falling in love is an interesting thing too that we can talk about. So maybe you're calling out that you do that, and it's okay. That's okay. What you don't want to do is ruin the collaboration. So as you are what you call falling in love, you wanted to round to I will be stopped in 15 minutes. Okay, I got you. I got you. So let us know. Stay safe, Randolph. Stay safe. But I will say this, um, and I don't have the notion of falling in love anymore. I understand where we get that from, and I understand that we say that. But for me, love is constant, and we either express it or we don't express it. And what we call falling in love is a certain relationship that's centered on our expressing of that love, right? So it becomes romantic in a sense. The love is being expressed through some romantic relationship. But how I see love is that it is one thing and one thing only. We only express it in different ways through relationship with others. So my little bit I'll say again to that, Randolph, is that whenever we are in relationship with others, that means the other has to be involved in that too, right? So whether it's a romantic situation or parent child situation or any other situation that involves another person, that other person or people have to be involved in that too. So we can talk about that more in depth, but I appreciate, Randolph, your sharing that. And we can talk more about it so you don't ruin the collaboration and friendship because that's not what any of us want. Okay. So back to the ceremony with your one part of you that you've written down that you tend to hide, you no longer want to hide because you want to embrace it as you and let it work for you, right? We're deepening our true self so we live on 10, elevated, free, and joy-filled every day. This is how we get to do that by bringing things hidden to the light. So now we are going to bless this thing that we have written down. And blessing is an act of self acceptance. I'm accepting that I tend to not ask for help because I want to grow into asking for help and doing it in a loving way. This is giving our hidden part the attention it needs, right? The attention it maybe never received, that I never saw before. It is also reframing um, them so that they can come out of the closet, right? Um, we want to look at I don't ask for help to something more like it's okay to ask for help. Help is always there. People want to help you. Asking it shall be given, seeking ye shall find. How will people how can you get what you want if you don't ask? How do you solve a problem if you don't ask for help, right? So this is also reframing that part that we hide because maybe we thought of it in an unproductive way. Now we want to make that productive. So this is a way to reframe them. They can come out the closet and be seen. And this is how we invite them to join the whole. So the you that's on and popping and everyone sees that's part of that's you too. We want this to join that, right? In wholeness. So I want you to speak to your paper, and we're going to bless that piece of paper. So repeat after me. I bless this part of me with truth. I bless this part of me with compassion. I bless this part of me with light. And I bless this part of me with dignity. Okay, we're blessing this with truth, compassion, light, and dignity. And I hope you can feel what that feels like. For me, it feels lighter. It feels welcoming. It feels empowering to look at this part that I have kept hidden and to say, hey, I'm blessing you with truth. I see you. I see this. I bless it with truth, compassion, light, and dignity. So the next thing we're going to do, everybody okay? I want to make sure you're okay out there. If you're not okay, yell out. And if you're okay, don't do anything. I know you're fine. We'll move on. So now we're going to consecrate this container. We know it's just a bowl, and again, we said earlier, this ceremony is not the look in; it's just symbolic of the look in. The same way that this bowl is for holding this part of you, but we want to consecrate this container, so that we know what it is for this side of us that's hidden. So I want you to pick up your bowl with the paper in it, and I'm going to say this over it. And you may repeat after me. May this bowl become the place where fear and shame loses its grip and truth becomes gentle. May this bowl become the place where fear and shame lose their grip and truth becomes gentle. Why? Because truth sets you free. Now I want you to breathe deeply into this bowl 3 times as we seal this ritual. Breathe in and out into the bowl. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out into the bowl. One last breath in and breathe out into the bowl. That part of you has found a joyful place. Some people will burn the paper. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But mainly, that part of you we want to keep in peace with the rest of your joy-filled, elevated, free self. So, since we've done this ceremony, we've talked about things that we've hidden. I want you to reflect on this, throughout the day. Reverend E said, my bowl is made of wood. Through it, I am communing with nature. I love that. I love that. Mine is clay. So it's kind of similar. So you have to be careful with if you do any burning, Reverend E, with your wood. Um, but of course, that's optional. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of quietly focus on one question, and is this. So now that this part of me is blessed, this is what you're saying to yourself. Now that this part of me is blessed and accepted, how does it want to move through me next? Right? Because we are not necessarily burying this. We are incorporating it into the true self that we know we are, the one aligned with spirit, and it's going to be in harmony with that self. So, how does it want to move through me next? How does my now feeling comfortable, asking for help, move through me next? And how will I going to embrace it and allow that and express it? Well, I know one, I'm going to start asking for help. That's one way for me to do it. The situation with my marriage, that fear, when I realized what was happening, I had to decide, you know, to not continue in that situation. That's how it moved through me next. And it moves us to the next. Where do you want this to land? Where will it land in the deeper true you? So that's what I want you to kind of contemplate and meditate on throughout the day, of how you embrace this part of you and now how it will move through you. Any other questions or comments? Because we're going to um, close our ceremony and close our session, because I do want you to feel great with that new part of you, free, out of the closet and open. Yeah. So I'm gonna Randolph is back. He's safely parked. So we're gonna close out the ceremony. And if you guys would like to stay, I'm gonna open the chat up to Randolph so we can talk about his falling in love with the brilliant and wise women in his life. So here's our closing. Now that we have incorporated and opened up the part that one part of us is that was hidden, and we're gonna embrace in our true self. If you have other parts of you that you want to do this ceremony with, go ahead and do those too as you move along your day and your week, because our goal is to have everything open, nothing hidden. So in our closing affirmation, we bless what we used to bury, we honor what we used to hide, and we rise as whole. That's what we want to do. So thank you all for participating with me in the Sankofa Unburdening Bowl. And now I'm going to add Randolph to join us, and let's have a conversation on that. I think that was a great point that he did. So I am looking for him to add. Click there. Okay, I just invited Randolph to join us, and he is coming on.
Okay, on my end, I see you.
Hi there. I'm glad you're safely parked. You may have an echo. Okay. Okay. Can you hear
Are
me?
we connected audio?
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah. I get the message that your internet is unstable,
Oh,
but
my
it might be
internet is
okay.
unstable. Okay, maybe this is better.
I hear it okay now.
Okay, great. Good. I hear you fine too.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your comment. And I don't know if that's the one thing you were bringing into light. I think so. The comment
Yes.
that you made. Tell me
Yes.
more about that.
Yes, I was introduced to the willingness to even do this because our friend Dr. Meg, when she initiated her live streams earlier this year, she invited people to come on and share live stream to talk about concerns. And she said, go for the deepest, juiciest, scariest thing you could talk about. So, so I had already been attending her live streams for a few months, and I could see that I was going into this old pattern, greatly respecting her professional expertise. I mean, I've never encountered a therapist so insightful and brilliant and spontaneous and
Mm-hmm.
and it reached deeply, but I could also see there was a part of me that was performing, that wanted to say, "Well, she's single, I mean, there's this thing that just it's always conniving in us, always,
Mhm.
always."
Mhm.
And and I could see it would and it's really, really clever. And sometimes it'll just spring out and you'll think, "Oh my god." You make some stupid remark that's just totally inappropriate and you go, "Oh my god," and you ruin the thing. And and all of a sudden all that trust you build up, it appears to her that you've just been
Mm.
a phony this whole time, and you've been trying to wait for the time when you could spring the trap.
Mm.
And so she invited me. I think we talked a couple times last March and April, and she invited uh yeah, we ended up talking on two of our live streams, and we talked about this, and it was really, really helpful.
Mhm.
And yet 4 months later, the thing came up again, and it changed the whole complexion of the relationship. And so
Mhm.
now we cannot collaborate the way we were.
Okay.
There's still opportunities, but and this has been going on for 60 years.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Um, well, thanks for being on. And for those of
Yeah,
you who are just now joining, I saw Margaret and a few others just joining. We finished our Sankofa Unburdening Bowl ceremony, and we're now talking to Randolph because he raised one of the things or the hidden part of things he wanted to bring light on through the ceremony. So now we're kind of deep diving into what he said. So it's kind of like a post ceremony chat, which is exciting. And he had just mentioned that he respects brilliant and wise women, but sometimes something within him will push him toward falling in love with them. And it sounds like it's an emotional connection that may be higher than where you started at, not necessarily romantic or sexual or anything like that. It's just a deeper expression of how you feel about that person that that's not established with that person.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Reverend E just said naming it and exposing it helps disarm it. And I agree with that precisely, particularly since you said this has been going on for decades.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I suspect that something is thirsting on the inside, something a little bit hunger on the inside of you that causes you to express or to easily go um express that love beyond where the relationship has been established. There's nothing wrong with, as people say, quote, falling in love or expressing love within a
Mhm.
romantic relationship as long as that is walking mutually, right? The other person is sharing in that goal. The issue
Yeah.
is when the other person is not sharing in that goal, then you've got a misalignment of love expression.
Yep.
So I think it is worth self-examining, as she said, naming and exposing it to kind of see what's within me that's hungry for that,
Mhm.
or what's within me that causes me to interpret the brilliance and the wisdom and the different things that we all bring, that's attracted to you that lures you to cross the line. And again, the line is only there if the other person is not reciprocating that where you want to go. So yeah, so I think it's some self-reflection you want to do and some recognition, excuse me, of what you want to do. So when you feel that coming on, you have to pause. You have to stop. You have to I don't know if it's a rubber band or whatever that you flick and say, "Okay, I'm feeling this coming on here. How do I pause, stop, and reverse it and make sure I keep it in check, right? Because there is yeah, a hunger or something there that's wanting to take you across that, you gotta figure out what that is and then manage that or reframe it like we did with that ceremony. Rename it, reframe it, position it so it does not cause you to harm the relationship long term,
Yeah.
which is what you wanna do.
Yeah.
So, again, happy to take this offline and we can do a one-on-one whenever you wanted to do that. Or we can get the ladies together and we can all have a group a group chat about it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I would like that. That would be so
Yeah.
nice. And then
Yeah.
you could throw tomatoes at me.
We don't wanna do that, but I would imagine we would say, "We love you too.
Yeah.
We enjoy the company with you." Like so much of the things you write are quite poetic and true with what you had done, with the poem, um, that I sent out on yesterday. So we
Yeah.
enjoy the fellowship. We enjoy when you come on and you express yourself in these live. We don't want that to be ruined by
Yeah.
something we don't know or we don't want that to be ruined.
Right.
So I'll reach out and see if we have a chat with a few of those and no throwing tomatoes. But also no shame, no condemnation, no none of that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We're not doing that either, but we want to keep the relationships intact too.
Yep.
And then and however we might can help you do that, I'm down for that. And
Yeah.
I would think Dr. Meg and some of the others will be down too.
Yeah. I thank you for the invitation, and I really appreciated how you embodied having a different relationship with these parts, that they're not a problem to solve, but
Right.
an opportunity to embrace and love something that wasn't loved in previously, and it is
Yes.
still seeking. So that that's part of the self-reflection, is to take this as an opportunity. I love how Lamar puts this too, that each thing that comes to us is actually a gift that
Yes.
we've created for our own benefit to grow beyond. So,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
um,
Yeah. And not wanting to ignore it or discount it all as no, no, it's foo foo. It's telling us something. And if it's giving you things you don't want, like ruin relationships, then you have to say, okay, let me stop and take a look at this and figure this thing out. And like you said, reframe it, redo it. A lot of times I've found that it is um misinformed narratives we tell ourselves. Like I said, if I get a divorce, God is I'll be disconnected from God.
mm,
I mean,
mm, mm.
I know where it came from. But now I look, it's a ludicrous idea, right? It's not valid idea. So these narratives that we pick up on and these agreements we make that are unfounded or founded on misunderstandings or untruths
Mm.
or just
Yeah.
craziness, downright craziness that we have that we don't have to have anymore. But if we
Yes.
don't take a look at it, we never get to that.
Yeah.
If we don't go within, look inside, we never get to that. So, just like you said about looking at it, reframing it, I'm encouraging you to do that. And then I'll see if we can have a little private chat with some of the ladies.
I love that idea. That sounds
Yeah.
so good. That sounds so good.
Again, we'll be happy to be called brilliant and wise. That's enough to say, yeah, I'm coming.
I'm just a reporter here. I'm just a reporter. I'm just saying what I see. I mean, it's no joke.
Absolutely.
It's no
Absolutely.
joke. I mean, being for some reason, I was able to be open the last 5 years or so to the wisdom that the mother of my children was trying to get through to me for 30 years previous, but I never heard her. But for some reason, and then hearing it, realizing that all these years, all the answers that I was looking for in life were being given to me by women who just say, "Hey," but I discounted it. So it's been a real revelation that um, that in spite of all the mistakes, you all still just want to talk with me and say, hey, there's a better way of doing this. So thanks very much. I'm
Yep.
looking forward to the meetings coming up.
Sure, that's what we're gonna do. And thanks for coming on and joining us. Everyone, thanks for joining us. We did do the ceremony earlier. So the first half of this, we did the Unburdening Bowl, which I enjoyed. I hope everyone else did too. And Randolph had a good comment that launched us into more of a one-on-one his story, the things that he is shining light on, and that's how you're joining us with the wonderful Randolph today. But we're going to close here. Continue to have a wonderful holiday. If you're celebrating those, continue to love yourself, embrace yourself, love you first. I've seen a lot of comments of people having a hard time doing that, but we have to love ourselves first in order to love anyone else. And I tell my friends, if you're not loving yourself, whatever you're doing to somebody else is not love. Because you have to do to yourself, then to them. So let's practice that for the rest of the day. Thank you for joining us. I love you all. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.